and this I'm gonna continue this. I'll show you. Some of us are in like an abandoned house, or look at your body as an abandoned house, like where you are now. It's like the abandonment in itself. Like let's say we grew up in abandoned homes. If you see an abandoned house, it just looks from the outside just horrible. You know, everything's growing on it, and you know the mail is piled up in the mailbox. Everything's crawling in there. You know, who knows? It's dark within. But then there's renovation. You know, like the word renovation is like innovation. Actually, I just realized that. But greetings and greetings. This is a continuous from the first video, the storage, whatever. So peace and love, and may all divine souls and whomever is led to this video send you love and light and blessings. You are your light in your darkness. Giving honor to ancestors known and unknown, source, creator, all that within us, as within, so without, as above, so below. So back at what I was saying, when you look at the word renovation, then you can say innovation. So it's like we're learning to the world. As you can see, it's like if you look at certain parts of the world, because everyone is going through judgment right now, my loves. The whole world is going through judgment. It's like the judgment of souls. People are going through judgment. Everything that they feel like they could hide, Spirit has seen, all seeing eye. And that's the creator, that's the eye of the Most High, seeing everything. So we're unlearning and relearning the abandonment that has, like, we have abandoned our soul, our essence. And we learn this through who? From who? It doesn't stop. The narrative doesn't change until it stops with you. Y'all want to see my eyes? I really don't care. I like these shades, though. I just don't like looking at that light too much. But I love you all. But okay, back to the, it says, I put neglect and respect. Then it has abandonment, abandoned house, and renovation. We're renovating our souls right now. We're going through a renovation. The Creator is renovating us. You ever saw a house that was tore down? And that's why they say never judge a book by its cover, what someone looked like. Ooh, I say. It's like, do you see how the world has portrayed people, per se, that looks like me in so-called the Americas, in this place? But now you're about to see the rise of greatness, because people are learning to love and pour into themselves. They're reconnecting with their essence, and they're going through a renovation of the soul. They're reevaluating, recalling, reiterating. All these things are like, it's a recycling. You see what I'm saying? It's coming back around, and it brings forth the awareness. That's why I say, had you not went through what you went through, those of you that know, had you not went through what you went through and chose yourself and connected to source, had you not went through what you went through, and this is what happens. You're higher, a higher elevation, and now the Spirit is giving you these gifts that were ordained before your birth. You're giving these gifts, not what man can give you. Man can't give people anything. Some people don't even have connection to Spirit. What can they offer you other than what? Material. That's just like if a woman or man are not in tune with themselves, they can only offer someone, external things that, let's say if they have no connection or disconnect with themselves, they can only offer one, external things through, let's say, validation or looking for some type of self-acceptance. And that's because if they don't have the connection within self. And so that's why we're seeing the world going from a lower vibrational state from, it just always being around the lower self, meaning like just offering up sex or, exchanging energy in that way. And now you're seeing the wool being pulled and seeing, oh, this person really cannot, what are you offering or exchange as of, spiritual intellect, or emotional intellect. What is this? What is this really? As we go and dive into ourselves and learning more about ourselves, what is this connection really showing me? And see, that's through growth. That's through all relationships. And again, I always share with people that started. If you look at a tree, you go to the roots, you go to your elders, and you look at their behavior, you look at their actions, and then you start to see the patterns in family. Like, why is this person not? And it's not so much a married, but you start to see the pattern. Like, this person has, why is this person, happy with themselves? I'm telling you, it's so deep to where, okay, let's get deep with it. I don't care if I got to delete more stuff. I love for y'all to just see my 444, the numbers. But it goes as deep as, like, let's say, I speak for myself. Growing up, and I saw, like, how the relationship, again, was displayed on how a man should love a woman and how a woman should love a man. And seeing that reciprocation, again, through my lens, what I saw in childhood was through verbal abuse, physical abuse, and the overly use of, sex in a way, or using it as something for acceptance or to keep someone, like bind to them. And I'm like, yo, and as I say this, I'm like, oh my God, it really is. I got to get it out because I know someone else is going to, they need, everyone's need this, because they're going to, what it does is trigger one, and so they can change that cycle, and so they get that clarity, and that discipline kicks in, and that awareness comes in, and the trigger can be like crying or allowing yourself to cry, surrendering to it. And that's why I realized what the mother that I was around, the mother that, again, I always speak of, like, we know that we have mothers that chose, and again, this was their free will. And through growth, how could I expect my mother to love me if she never knew or had that example of a love that was sincere? A mother and father in a home. And I start to learn this because I start to look at her mother. Then I start to see, like, yo, these cycles have been continuing. I start to learn about my great-grandmother and how my grandfather, the grandfather I knew, abused her. But then I'm like, where, like, it's like a freaking tornado, bro. It's like you're learning these things, and it's not just people, it's all cultures. There's a lot of things a lot of people don't speak about. And see, this is why the world is going through, like, a suffering, but this is also why the world needs more light and love. There has to be a balance and things that keep everything neutral. But from my experience, like, I saw, again, someone that I love with everything within me. This is the mother that I came through. This is who, the Creator chose me to come through. So I'm like, yo, as a kid, you're unconscious to, like, well, I always had this discernment, this spirit of discernment, but it's like I always knew people were supposed to be treated better, or, they deserve better. But again, as a child, you're just sponge. You're absorbing all this stuff, and then not only that, we're learning. I'm learning at that time, learning the unhealthy habits, or unhealthy, building unhealthy connections, leading me up to all the connections that I will come to, or, it's like that lens I will be downloading or receiving and creating this image, or this idea of what all women should be, how they should be, how they should act. Not to say, even when I got to a certain age, it was me learning that was becoming my love language. You see what I'm getting at now? This is how we heal as humanity. Look at how all the stuff we've learned. And like I speak about, spirit, like, speak about porn. A lot of this stuff is teaching kids and people. A lot of this stuff people have access to. They don't even know why. A lot of this stuff I was learning what it is to look at porn and trying to be something that I wasn't even wanting to be, and not honoring the fact of like learning about now semen retention. You know, the power in not spilling my seed or pouring my seed, which I mean authentic, like what they call ejaculation and stuff. And see, a lot of that again opened doors when I was younger, because of I was what's the word? What is it? I wasn't forced, but it was actually a part of what I had to experience. I had to learn to accept that. It was a part of like what I witnessed growing up. Yes, I saw my mother, the mother, and then her boyfriend or stepfather. Like I would hear them having sex. I'm a child, you know, and some people are like, what? Yes, you can hear it, and then next thing you know, they're fighting. I had to witness my mother being punched in the eye. I had to witness her with black eyes. I witnessed stuff like seeing her, the police being called because it was traumatizing the sisters that I was around. And then what they would do is that they would call the police, but then a part of my mother, like the mother I came through, she would like when the police arrived, it was so traumatic, bro. Like when the police arrived, man, like either one of them went to jail or her behavior when the police arrived would get both of them sent to jail. And so she would, the police would arrive and he would go, and she would just act like nothing ever happened, but clearly the police can see her face. And so not only that, she would try to like defend the man that just hit her, like saying like, no, don't, like, be quiet, be quiet. I'm like, yo, what? The contradictory. It's like a movie. I know I'm not the only one that's just like, bro, and you know what? In seeing this and then being in relationships, I can reflect on being in relationships where verbal abuse and then drinking a lot, you know, trying to numb the pain will lead me to, you know, the verbal abuse will lead to physical altercations because of the overindulging in alcohol, you know, having no, again, like so many things, like in my childhood, I reflect on. And the only thing I would really do is trying to keep the peace in everything. It's like, I would share this with anyone that, let's see, I'll speak for myself, meaning like a brother, just a melanated brother. If y'all don't know what melanin is like, you know, or y'all may call it African American, black, and a lot of that stuff I don't answer to because it's again, these are just titles. But I'll let you know, like growing up in certain homes, like the atmosphere, it's like walking on eggshells. Because you're trying to do everything not to get an ass whooping. Or not feel to be belittled or anything in any way. To not pretty much provoke anyone to be angry or anything. Because what I witnessed, I learned that, again, I start to realize how much, at this age now, how much a lot of our people have not been loved, have not been nurtured, have not been embraced by their own mothers and their mothers' mothers. How a lot of our kids or who we are have been birthed not only from generations and generations and generations through trauma, through pain. And that, again, it was been passed down. And everybody, and this is the thing that y'all may know of what been taught. It's not so much of slavery. It's so much of how our women have been warriors through all of this. Not just our women, but our men. A lot of stuff people don't go research. A lot of our men was castrated. If you really want to know about, I guess you can say the Europeans, or it's not just one race of people, because there's a human race. We're all connected in this. But the accountability has to be on the fact of why are our people behaviors, or why are they the way they are, and this is why some people walk around with so much frustration and anger, and people actually perceive us or perceive a people to just be just that, just hatred. When you really look at a lot of places and go a lot of places, I've seen the same things from the opposite. No matter where I've been, I've seen hatred displayed just because you got to breed hatred. You got to learn that in a childhood. And I can tell you one thing, as much as the mother and the women I've been around, they don't hate themselves, but I've seen people that hate people. And that's what some may call like racism. But I've seen hate and I know what it looks like. Love has no place in that. But I've seen, you have to really hate something to want to go out and kill a people with no type of sympathy. You really have to hate something to put it on TV. You really have to hate a lot of stuff to really make it seem like these deaths aren't traumatizing to the mothers that have kids, and to other, how this world in America has portrayed a people. This is the accountability that's at hand. And just imagine, and I tell people, look, whether you're Caucasian, Irish descent, Scottish, because these are nationalities. Because it's not just European. If you looked on TV, turning your news, and you just saw people that looked like you per se, that were just getting shot down and this and that, wouldn't the world be afraid of you? You know what I'm saying? That's how really deep it goes. So I challenge people. I'm like, you don't just not afraid of a people for no reason. You've been programmed. Because I've been around a lot of people, and it has nothing to do with what they look like. A lot of this stuff is breeded. It's like anything. Hatred is I grew up in schools that trust me, the rebel flags or the Confederate flags. I know what it is to experience stuff that go into certain places where they still live that way, where this is what's ignored. And it still happens. I have parents, my father that went through stuff like that. And it's still happening. It just won't be televised though. But the reality of it is it will be televised now. And so this is how you bring healing to humanity. When you see why it is a people, why is it any different for, people idolize these celebrities or any of these people as if y'all all didn't originally come from people that look like me or darker. It's scientific. Scientifically. There's no argument. It's science. And it's not to say, oh, this person is better. No. When we are knowing and coming into our worth now, it's important for not only a man to stand in his power and his masculinity and honor his feminine, also too, our women will also do the same thing. Because there is truly nothing to fear here. But a world has shown and tried to portray to the world you should not only hate, but fear these people. And see, that's what it is. People hate what they cannot, understand or comprehend. That's the really bigger picture here. Why haven't y'all questioned the fact of like why they don't push people that look like me or people with nappy or natural hair or the naturalness? Why aren't they pushing that? I love it. I am grateful that my ancestors told me to learn to love who I am, cause so I can empower the young men that you're more than what society or anybody is trying to portray you to be. You're more than that. You've always been more than that. Because you come from kings and queens and royal bloodlines, and you come from a lot of things. And was it all good? It wasn't. But now the world is going to be judged because it's what you put out there energetically. And so now the judgment is returning to the Americans, because if you put out there so much of how a people or anybody, and now they're going to realize that it's all not only false, but it was kind of have truth. So it's about the accountability now. All the women. It's not so much of what someone is. No one is ugly externally. It's the things that they refuse to look within themselves. And see, this is what America has done. This is what man has taught you. Man knows nothing. He has taught you to. There's a saying like, love what? Well, I quote a song. It says, hate ourselves and love their wealth. And really, there is no wealth here. The true divine wealth is generational wealth, which is the healing. That comes with the acknowledgement of the darkness. And so when you acknowledge what you've experienced in the dark, then you can illuminate what's, bring light to whatever is happening in the darkness. So you can bear better fruit. Because a lot of shit out here is rotten. A lot of people, again, they're rotten inside. And that's what I realized about some people in my family. It's not that it's not a seed there. It's not that they don't have a soul. No, they're rotting out in the inside. They're dead on the inside. Because they don't believe that there's light there. But we're here now. The light will forever shine and forever illuminate the world. There's nothing that can be hidden anymore. So this is to all my sisters, no matter what culture you are, but especially for the sisters that are dark in tone. You've always mattered in this world because you are the origins of this world. And then to the women that, again, whatever nationality you come from, you will come to know this. That originally we all originally come from a woman that's dark. But the only thing what makes, you have to see how. When are y'all going to sit down with other women and see how and why women, I'm doing a video. What's up? Yeah. Okay, I'm doing a video though. When? In a minute? That's my mother. Okay. But just know that